welcome you back once again after a huge gap. So actually there was a problem in mobile, that's why videos were not coming. But from now on we will be back on track and you will get the videos regularly, especially both in the objective geology series and also in the means for the GSI means series, which is uh, going on from the past 2 months. So we will continue from there. Okay. So firstly we will talk about the uh, if you have forgotten what we have discussed in the previous videos, I think we have ended at the discussion of the previous year questions paper of BHUPET, and before that we have discussed some important questions related to the petrology. Okay, petrology in igneous petrology, metamorphic petrology and sedimentary petrology also. So all those videos, they are also very important from the exam point of view. The coming exams like GSI Pre and GATE and JAM 2021. So in continuation of that series, we will start our discussion from now on. So these are the questions. They will be dealing with the objective questions, objective geology questions. Okay, so the basic terminologies. So our point of discussion in these videos, that will be the earthquakes, means about the special engineering geology. When we talk about the earthquakes, volcanicity and the landslides or the mass wasting process, in a short term we can call them. So that will be the point of our discussion from now on, and we will deal, I think, several videos upon this topic, because you will see when you take the assistant geologist at assistant geophysicist or assistant hydrogeologist exam of UPSC, so you will get this topic in your syllabus, that is the seismic geology, or you can say earthquake geology or seismicity. Okay, so that is that topic that these current video and the next coming videos, they will cover this particular topic of engineering geology. Okay, so very first part of that series, that will be the terminologies, the basic terminologies, their meaning and their some other important factors about that. Okay, so that will be the point of our discussion. Okay, so very first question that is dealing with the study of earthquake is called as, so this is very basic and you all know, that is the seismology. Okay, so the study of earthquakes, the science, or we can see the science that deals with the study of the earthquakes in all their aspect, that is known as the branch of seismology, and it's the interdisciplinary science that deals with partly geology and partly the physics. Okay, because the basic principles which we will discuss, they cover the physical part or the physics, and since these activities are going on in the earth's interior or in the earth scenario, so that's why we call them the geology also. Okay, so the basic fundamentals laws of physics, they will be applied, and since we are dealing with the earth, so that's why geology will also be there. Okay, so the study of earthquakes, that is known as seismology. Option C will be the correct option. Second one is the point of origin of an earthquake is below the earth's surface is known as. Okay, means the very basic definition that is being asked, the point of origin of an earthquake below the earth's surface is known as. So we all know that is the focus. Okay, and focus, there is another name for focus, that is the hypocenter. There are two terms, hypocenter and epicenter. So when we started our discussion, or way back in when we have discussed the basic root words which have been generally used in the study of geology or study of the earth sciences, there we have talked about two words, the epi and the hypo. Okay, so epi means something being on above of something, means किसी के मीन्स उसका कोई बेस होगा, बेस के ऊपर वो लाई करेगा पॉइंट. मीन्स अर्थ सरफेस पे, जो सरफेस अर्थ सरफेस पे लाई करेगा वो पॉइंट। ओके, तो एपी मीन्स टू बी ऑन द टॉप ऑफ समथिंग। ओके, सो उसको अगर हम हिंदी में बात करें तो एपी सेंटर को अधिकेंद्र कहते हैं। ओके, एंड फोकस को हिंदी में भी फोकस ही कहते हैं। ओके, एंड फोकस का जो दूसरा नाम है दैट इज द हाइपोसेंटर। So it's very important for you to understand both the two words. Okay, suppose you are familiar with the term focus, but unfortunately you don't understand the hypocenter, and in exam the hypocenter has been given, so there will be a confusing situation for you to answer the particular question. Okay, so second name that is also very important for you to understand and know properly. Okay, so epicenter and hypocenter, these are the two basic terms which are used for the generation or the origin of the earthquake. So the point of origin of an earthquake below the earth surface, that is known as focus. Okay, and same you can see in the description box given here. The place or point of an origin of a particular earthquake below the surface of the earth, that is known as the focus, or you can see the second name hypocenter, that has also been given here. And it may lie from a few hundred meters to hundreds of kilometers below the surface. Okay, so the depth of focus that varies from, means it can be of shallow depth, it can be of narrower depth, or it can be of deeper depth. So depth varies. Okay, and on the basis of the depth of the focus, the magnitude that can also be determined. Okay, or the destruction that will cause, okay, because of that earthquake. So focus is also the depth of a particular focus in an earthquake, that is of utmost importance for one to understand the magnitude as well as the intensity of a particular earthquake. Okay, so the correct question, or sorry, the correct option here, that will be option C, focus. And our third question basically that deals with the point vertically above the focus is known as the focus or the hypocenter, that we have already talked about, and epicenter, that is the point that lies vertically above the focus. Okay, so the point lying vertically above on the earth surface directly above the focus, that is known as the epicenter. Okay, and there are some very basic properties or basic conditions which are very important for the earthquake seismology, or the for the recognition of a particular earthquake, and especially the intensity. So the in the epicenter the shaking is most intense. Okay, so at the place of epicenter the shaking of the seismic waves, that is very intense, and when we move outwards from the epicenter the intensity that gradually decreases. Okay, so this is very important question, and it has already been asked in an examination, that is at which place the intensity is maximum in an earthquake. So that place is epicenter, and when we move outwards from epicenter the intensity of a particular earthquake that decreases gradually. Okay, and same you can see that is written here, the point or the place of the surface vertically above the focus of a particular earthquake is termed as its epicenter. Okay, so correct option that will be the option A, epicenter. Next one is, fourth one is dealing with the what is the location of maximum damage caused due to an earthquake, means the location of the maximum damage that is generally caused because of an earthquake. Focus, epicenter, 100 kilometers from the epicenter, or the same everywhere. Okay, so the epicenter is that place that we have already discussed on the surface of the earth, where the vibrations from a particular earthquake reaches first. So obviously the intensity that will be more at the point of epicenter, and it is often the location of maximum damage in the event. Okay, so option B, that is the epicenter, that will be the correct option. Okay, Fifth one is dealing with the what is the maximum depth of focus observed till date. We have to tell the maximum depth of the focus that has been observed till date. So 100 kilometers, 500 kilometers, 700 kilometers, or the 1000 kilometers. So before we go into the deep of this particular question, or the if we try to decipher the particular answer of this question, we must understand the basic terms. Okay, there are two very important, or sorry, we must understand the Vadati-Benioff zone. Okay, so this zone has to be understood well if you have to answer this particular question. So this zone is a planar zone of particular seismicity corresponding with the downgoing slab in a subduction zone. Okay, so obviously this Vadati-Benioff zone, that is correlated, or that is related with the subduction zone, and differential motion along the zone that produces a number of earthquakes. Okay, so the most of the earthquakes, they are being produced, or they are being originated in this Vadati-Benioff zone. Okay, simply this is known as Benioff zone. Okay, along the zone produces number of earthquakes, and focus of the earthquakes that may be as deep as 670 to 700 kilometers. Okay, and this zone that develop beneath the volcanic islands arcs as well as the continental margin above the active subduction zones. Okay, so the volcanic island arcs and the continental margin, they are the most favorable conditions or favorable position or the points for the Vadati-Benioff zone, as you can see in the diagram. Okay, the convection continental volcanoes, or the sea level that rise, or the fluctuations in the sea level. Okay, so that is the Vadati-Benioff zone, you must understand. And now we come back to our question, that is what is the maximum depth of focus observed till date. So that is the 700 kilometers. Okay, somehow in between 670, 680 to up to 700 meters, 700 kilometers, not more than that. Okay, so as you can see in the box, the as regards the distance from the epicenter to focus, the depth of the focus, better known as, it has already been observed from the study of the seismic records that no earthquake with a focus deeper than 700 kilometer has been recorded so far. Okay, so you have to remember the Benioff zone. Okay, their depth, that is 670, 80 to 700 kilometers. Okay, so option C, that will be the right option. Sixth one is the seismic waves which are longitudinal in nature, they are known as, okay, primary waves, secondary waves, Rayleigh waves, or the Love waves, or L waves we call them. So these are, we all know that is the P waves. This is very basic for one to understand. So P waves, they have some other names like primary waves, pull waves, and the longitudinal waves, as well as the compressional waves. Okay, so these are the compressional waves which causes the particles of the rock to vibrate in the longitudinal direction. And the P waves travel fastest. We all know that is the P wave has the highest velocity as compared to S waves, L waves, or the R waves, or the Rayleigh waves. Therefore, since they have the highest velocity, that's why they reach first at the seismic station, and their velocity, that is 1.7 times greater than that of the S waves. Okay, this question has already been asked. That is the velocity of P waves, that is greater than 1.7 times greater than that of the S waves. And the most important property of P waves, that is they pass through the solid as well as the liquid both. Okay, so P waves are also called as the primary, push-pull waves, longitudinal waves, and the compressional waves. These are the fastest of the seismic waves that we have already discussed, and longitudinal in nature. Okay, So option A, that will be the right option. Seventh one is dealing the seismic waves, which are also called as transverse waves or known as. So we all know these are the S waves, or we call them the secondary waves. S waves because these are the secondary waves, and P waves because they are the primary waves. So these are the shear waves which are transverse in nature, and their velocity is less than, as we have already talked about, less than the P waves. And the S waves travel through the solids only and don't pass through the liquids. Okay, so the emphasis, the significance of P and S waves, that is very important for the decipherance of other particular things particular in the interior of the earth, the internal structure of the earth. Okay, so provided the situation that S waves don't pass through the liquids, that imparts very significant uh, discovery for the decipherance of the internal structure, that is the S waves, they don't enter into the core. Okay, so as you can see, the same is given in description box. The S waves, they are also called as the secondary waves, shear waves, the transverse waves, or the distortional waves, and these waves are transverse in character like the light waves. Okay, so option A, S waves, that will be the correct option. Question number 8, that is dealing which waves have helped geologists to understand the nature of the earth's core. Okay, so we have already discussed in the previous slide. Okay, so these are the S waves, and the S waves, they would not propagate through a liquid medium at all. So this is very important property of S waves, that they don't travel through a liquid medium, and this is a proven fact that S waves and has helped geologists a lot to understand the nature of the core of the earth. Okay, so whatever understanding or whatever uh, researches which have been taken place in the past about the core, so they have solely been dependent upon the study of the S waves. Okay, so this is the application of S waves, as you can understand. Okay, so option B, that is will be the correct option. Ninth one is, what are the P and S waves collectively known as? Okay, so during an earthquake, when an earthquake takes place, the seismic waves, they are generated, which spread outwards in all the directions from its focus. And seismic waves are of three types, especially the P waves, S waves, and the surface waves, or we call them the L waves. So surface waves are responsible for the causing earthquakes, while the main significance of the P and S wave is in the study of the Earth's interior. And P and S waves, they travel through the interior of the Earth and are reflected and refracted as they enter a layer of the different material. Okay, so that is the types we can understand. And the question dealing with the P and S waves, these are collectively known as the body waves. Okay, so P and S waves, they are sometimes collectively called, referred to as the body waves, because they travel deep into the body of the earth before re-emerging on the surface, and when they emerge onto the surface, we call them the L waves. Okay, so option C, body waves, that will be the correct option. So this was our discussion, very important questions related to the very basic. I know this is very basic for one to understand, since this topic is very important from those who are taking the BHU PET or JAM exam. Okay, so this is the very basic lecture, or the very basic discussion on the seismic waves, especially you can call them. Okay, so in the next video we will talk about some other very fundamental questions related to the terminology. Okay, as we have already discussed that we will discuss two parts, terminology 1 and terminology 2. So the remaining terms we will talk in the next video. Okay, thank you.